Good afternoon. Good Tuesday practice out on the turf. Grass was a little wet. We expect to be out there tomorrow and get at least one practice on the grass, and then hopefully we'll be out there again on Thursday if the weather stays good for us. Questions?
Is this team back? Are you back into a regular mode where you feel like it's a Saturday game that you're back into with all the holiday and the disruptions and all that kind of stuff?
It's really, I think, one of the more important messages to the team today, and they got the message from me, and then I heard a similar message from Coach Prince to the offense, in that with all the things that are great about a bowl game, you can't lose sight of the fact that this is Tuesday. This is the Tuesday practice, and we've got an opponent just like we did the other 12 weeks, and we've got certain things that we have to accomplish as a football team to be 1-0 on Saturday. We've got to accomplish them today so we can make the corrections, and I thought we did a good job of that. We were out there a little over 90 minutes and a little bit of a walkthrough before that, and I thought the players were focused and they ran around well.
Do you have to make more of a point of emphasis of that when you're practicing at home, as opposed to a normal bowl? You would be out at the site. But I think being
home might actually help us because it keeps us more in the general routine, the same meeting rooms, the same structure, the same locker room. That might help us a little bit. I think probably maybe everybody does, but we make more of a point of it because, the players were off yesterday. We ran and we watched film, but then we didn't practice. So today we come back and we have a practice in the morning, which is very much our normal routine, a little bit later in the day than usual, but our normal routine. But now we're going to get on a bus, we're going to go to Manhattan, we're going to stay in a beautiful hotel. The players are going to have some free time, and then tomorrow morning we're going to get back on the bus and come here. So I think it's all the other things that'll be around that aren't usually around. The friends and family that'll come into the bowl site if they're there today. The holiday tomorrow in Christmas certainly creates other things that you have to think about. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. And I thought we had a good start today.
Kyle, do you have a plan for Ruhan for the bowl game? Is he back totally on offense now?
Right now, he's totally on offense. We'll do third down tomorrow, so we'll talk as a staff today and see if there's a role for him on defense. At the very least, there'll be an emergency role for him on defense because we're not completely full of bodies over there like we'd like to be. But how much of a role we'll decide tonight as a staff.
He had a good game against UConn, I think. I can't remember how far. Do you think that's because he's now settled back into off? Because his focus isn't as split, he can be more productive at receiver?
Well, I think he's a very good receiver. He was a productive receiver for us before we decided to use him on both sides. It's one of those things that's not easy to do. It's why you don't see it very often. And you see it in the NFL. I know the Patriots do it, but they have the players all day, and we don't. We're under rule restrictions and things of that sort of nature. But you have to get the best players on the field, and that was the reason we did it in the first place. And when we talk about it as a staff tonight, if there's a role for him or a situation depth-wise where we need him, then we'll train him to do that tomorrow.
How important was it for you to get practices outside going into a bowl game like this?
It's the first time I can remember practicing outside for a bowl. We generally have gone in the bubble. The only location, I guess, that would have been considered a non-warm weather location would have been Toronto. And when we got up there, we had an indoor facility to practice in. I think this is important because it's an outdoor game in the Northeast. It's a natural surface, so we're not going to go on our natural surface at the risk of guys slipping and falling everywhere, but I think it'll be dry enough tomorrow and Thursday that we'll be able to do a little bit of work out there and get the cleats ready. So I think it's important. I think if you can do it, you want to do it.
The surface a couple of years ago, Yankee Stadium was kind of sloppy. It was a little ripped up. Are you guys prepared to play on that type of turf come Saturday?
I think the first game they had there was a high school game. It was a public school championship game. It was the first time they transformed it into a football field. And there were some issues with the turf that day because it was a temporary surface. I think every time they've done it, they've gotten better at putting it down. I don't anticipate there being issues with the surface. I think the Yankees have done a good job of learning more and more how to go about putting down a temporary surface.
You have a core group of the defensive line guys who obviously playing their last game on Saturday. Just what are those guys meant in their time here?
The toughness of your football team generally starts up front, and guys like Jamil Morrell, guys like Ike Holmes, guys like Marcus Thompson, they are tough football players, and over time those guys have played a lot of football for us, and even a guy like David Maluski, he was just back now. He's one of those older guys. He's not playing his last game, obviously, but those are the guys that are the foundation of your team, and I've always felt that way. I felt that way about the offensive line too, and those guys are not going to be easy to replace. They're good football players.
Coach, going off Maluski, what's it like having him actually prepare for bowl healthy?
It's exciting for me. I love watching David Maluski play football because I know exactly what he did over the past couple of years to get back to this point, and to see him come through an entire season healthy and be able to go out there and play in a great venue on a great stage. I mean, we may have to we have to do everything we can to keep him in the locker room before the game. But it's been exciting for me to watch it. It's fun. He's such a great kid. So it's great to see a kid like that have success.
Got time for 2 more?
Have you been pleased with what you've seen of Chase as he gets more with the one-team reps, first-team reps? Have you seen improvement there?
I think so, and I think the way we've done it, because of numbers, we've done more pro service. So he's playing against good players, good linebackers and good DBs, and the guys that'll be playing for us this Saturday. So I see better decisions. I see better accuracy with the ball. I see a better job of protecting the ball, both in the run game and in the pass game. So I think he's made good progress. I think he understands the opportunity that we have this week.
I'm with a real hard-hitting question. I've asked a bunch of the players. What's your favorite Christmas present you've ever gotten? Anything come to mind?
That's a great question. I'll tell you what. Greatest, I think as coaches we tend to be haunted more by the losses than the wins. And I think my most vivid memory of Christmas was coming down as a child, and my brother had gotten the exact bicycle that he wanted. And I got a bicycle, and it was a great bicycle, and it was a very poor decision on my part because I heard it from my dad. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't get the bicycle that I wanted. My brother did. I was jealous of my brother's bicycle. So when you ask me about a gift on Christmas, my mind immediately goes to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.